Today I'm going to build this small desk using the narrow farmhouse table plans from annawhite.com. You'll find a link to the original plans along with the PDF version of the plans that have the measurements that I use down below in the description. My friend wanted this desk to be about half the size of the original table, so I modified the length and the width to accommodate. As you'll see, I also did the top a little bit differently than the plans. We'll start with step 1. I cut my 1x3 board into 4 24 1/4 inch pieces. These will make up 1/2 of the table legs. Now I'll cut the 1x4s to the same length. This taper isn't necessary, you don't have to do it, but it really makes the table look a lot nicer. I measure 5.5 inches down and make a mark. Then I measure 1 inch from the inside and make another mark. Now I connect the marks with a straight edge. I use my bandsaw to cut this line, but this could easily be accomplished with a jigsaw or another type of saw. Follow the line as closely as you can, but don't worry about it being perfect. You can use the sander later to smooth out the imperfections. No use measuring again, just use the board that you just cut out to trace the line on the 3 other boards. Now cut those. Here's where I sand out all of the imperfections and I try to make them reasonably similar to one another. Okay, now we need to attach the 1x3s to the 1x4s in an L shape like this. Make sure to pay attention to this part because I did not. They want you to make sure that the pretty side faces the sides of the desk so the seam doesn't show. The plans don't tell you exactly how to connect the legs in the L shape. You could use screws, nails, or brad nails. I decided to use 2 pocket holes on the inside of each leg. I wanted to hide them behind these stretchers that we'll cut in another step, and it almost worked. If I would have paid more attention to that other step that I told you to pay attention to, the pocket holes would have all been hidden, but because I didn't do that, I had to go back and plug a couple of those holes later. No big deal though. And then I ate this awesome lunch that my awesome husband made. So here I am gluing and screwing the pieces together half correctly. Now I'm going to cut the side aprons and the end aprons to my smaller measurements since my table's smaller. And now I'll attach the aprons to the legs. I'm using glue and 1 1/4 inch brad nails here. You can use screws too if you'd like, but just make sure that everything is square, especially if you're going to glue them. Now for the 2 little stretchers. I measured 10 inches up from the floor and I made marks before gluing and fastening again with brad nails. Here's where I stopped using the plans. Because my friend wanted the table to be 48 by 20 inches, I was able to use a laminated spruce panel board from the Home Depot that was already cut to that exact size. Since I didn't need all of those stretchers, I just flipped the table over upside down and I put pocket holes at the top of all of the stretchers. And then later on I'm going to put screws in here to attach the tabletop. Now it's time to sand everything. Since I'll be painting the bottom white, I decided to use some latex caulk to fill the gaps in the joints. And here I am filling one of the pocket holes that I put in the wrong side. And of course, fill all of the nail holes too. Here's the top that I bought as one piece. And now I'm using a roundover bit to create a rounded edge on the two long sides because that is fancy. And more sanding. Minwax Espresso is my favorite stain color of all time. Now a few coats of polyurethane on the top with a light sanding between coats. Now I'm positioning the tabletop so it's even on all sides. Using pocket hole screws to fasten the top on. And here's the finished product. I will list all of the tools and materials that I use in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe.